anyways, once again, this is video 1 of our 12 zodiac signs and elements and things that work best for them. And we're starting with Sagittarius. Sagittarius is, I love Sagittarius. They're one of my favorite signs. I'm a Virgo. Sagittarius is, and I've had very good friends that are Sagittarius. And for people who don't know, it's the 9th sun sign, and it goes from November 23rd to December 21st. Now, whenever we talk of birthstones, I do not consider the normal chart of birthstones, like my birthday is in August, so it's peridot. Well, I don't believe that in mine being peridot. I believe that my earth crystal or stone or whatever is my birthstone, because that goes by your zodiac sign. And so like mine that's by, it's like I said, is peridot, but by, or peridot, however you say it, and I don't even really care for my birthstone, but it's my birthstone, but my zodiac sign is the Carnine, so, or Carnine, but so, and that's one of my favorite stones. I absolutely love it. I'm automatically drawn to it anytime I go into my favorite shop and go shopping for my rocks. But anyways, on Sagittarius, what I'm going to go over and that I find is really one thing that I found really interesting, because like I said, this is one thing that I'm going to learn on too by doing this little quest on zodiac signs and what they're just kind of touching everything around them to kind of help and nurture them in everyday lives. So it's going to be kind of fun. The zodiac symbol is that of an archer, and their element is fire, meaning the earth element is fire. Zodiac quality is mutable. It's a mutable sign, and that's another reason why I get along really well with Sagittarians. Its detriment is Mercury. It's also on Neptune, and its sunstone is topaz. So topaz is going to be your crystal for your Sagittariuses. And you can pick any type of topaz for Sagittarius. You can pick clear, you can pick blue, you can pick pink, you can pick any type of topaz as long as it's a topaz. That is an absolute must-have for any Sagittariuses. And whenever you look at topaz, it in itself is an amazing crystal, and everybody should have a topaz. One of the best crystals for Sagittariuses is this lapis, and excuse me if I say it wrong, it's lapis lazuli, and it is beautiful. And my sons are back there correcting me on my grammar. This is a beautiful stone. I love it, and I should have had it out before I started this.
Mom, I play Minecraft as lapis lazuli.
Anyways, this one, it's in its raw form, so, but it's blue, and it is so absolutely beautiful. I love this stone. And if you'll look it up, it's just the when I go through and start explaining, you know, the Sagittariuses and everything else, the lapis lazuli, that is one really good stone just in healing, and I use it in tinctures, and a lot of times, and it wasn't until today that I realized, and I went back on my clients and got to looking, and like I said, I have just my daily books. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are just daily, everyday books, but 6. Anyways, I went back and I noticed that my lapis lazuli, anytime I used a tincture of that on anybody, it was a Sagittarius or somebody that was married to a Sagittarius or had a Sagittarius child that I was using for, any type of healing properties or any type of spiritual connection. Lapis lazuli always fell into play, and I was like, okay. And so I'm enjoying doing this and learning a lot myself and making a lot of connections. And that's where, also too, when people mix different types of crafts and beliefs that they use, I believe that you create a stronger inner strength and create stronger, intents. So anyways, the Sagittarius is the 9th sun sign. Like I said, it's the wanderer of all zodiac signs, and they're truth seekers. Your Sagittariuses are going to be the ones that are satisfied as long as you give them a validated answer to their question or validated concrete evidence. Now, if they catch you and they feel like you're not telling them the whole truth, they will be skeptical, and they're always optimistic. But Sagittarius says, I love them because they're optimistic about everything, and they're a cup half full type of person. So, a lot of wonderful philosophers and people like that are Sagittarians, and they value their religion and they value structure. And no matter what beliefs your children are in that are the Sagittarians, they will embrace those, and they'll pick pieces out, and they'll even do their own little research and choose how they feel and believe. They're very much like Virgos. They're very much like they want to see things and evaluate it themselves, sit back, look at the whole picture, and then make a decision. And that's where topaz comes in very strong for Sagittarians. That helps give them that clarity and strength. And just taking a raw, simple topaz, and I don't think I have any small ones in my sandalwood stage wasn't open today. I have some clear topaz. Or no, I have some blue. Where's the chunk? I believe that's the blue, yeah. There's the blue. Anyways, the blue topaz, if you can put it in, if you get it in one of the polished forms, like this is amethyst. And that's another thing with Sagittarians, amethyst mixed with your topaz. Say I take my topaz and my amethyst and I put them in a satchel and I hang them around my neck, and as a Sagittarian, that adds soothing, relaxing vibes to your inner chakra, and it naturally levels out that adrenaline. So it creates a soothing, relaxing, and amethyst is relaxing anyways, but for a Sagittarian, amethyst is very good for also. It's one of those crystals that you really want to put together. So if I was a Sagittarian, I would take my blue topaz, or if you don't have blue topaz, turquoise would be fine. I would take my blue topaz and I would take my amethyst, and you can get any type of something to put them in. I make necklaces, I'll wrap them in wire, and you can put them on I always tie my own knots usually, and on a corded necklace or whatever. Put it, hang it from your neck. My kids have satchels that they carry, and that works too if you don't want to hang it from your neck. Put these two, if you're prone to anxiety, and Sagittarians are prone to anxiety, you can take your blue topaz and your amethyst, put it together, and it's going to create that soothing that you need for the soul. And I believe amethyst is just amazing anyways for just anybody. And especially a fire element. Amethyst is, any type of quartz, anything of that nature is great for fire elements. And let's see, I made notes. Like I said, they value structure and discipline. Sagittarians are, they're really strong about the meaning of life, and that goes along with being a sun sign. So, and again, that's where your crystals play into touch. And I'm going to also touch on the crystals, herbs, aromas, foods, your healing and balance, and then flower and plants, which is kind of fun to throw in there too. So I'm gonna kind of hit all those little spots. Let's see. Like I said, Sagittarians, they're usually not satisfied until they feel like they've got the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But they're very optimistic, and if they feel like they've been betrayed by you, they will not trust you again. You won't hardly break down that wall, and then they'll still tolerate you, but they won't trust you again. They can hold a grudge. Let's see. One thing about Sagittarians is they're very free spirit, and they do not like to feel constricted. So Sagittarians have to feel that freedom, and you can kind of, if you have children that are Sagittarians, you can kind of manipulate that freedom into make them think they're getting freedom, by their choice. So there's ways of working with Sagittarians, because they don't like to be tied down to any rules, and they want to be able to create their own structure. So with Sagittarian children, you can create the structure for them, but give them options, and I tell you, you'll get so, it'll be so productive. It'll be amazing. They're clear thinkers, and they're always very loyal to looking at the bigger picture, and they like to feed their own inner self. And like I said, that comes from that drive for knowledge, and Sagittarians are very inquisitive. They're very mutable and want as much information as possible, so they make for good listeners, and you can always confide in one of them. In a Sagittarian, they're great to confide in. They're great to sit there and really think about things and hash things out and try to figure out what's best and move on. They're very intellectual, and they use their senses very well, and they're very connected to the spirit world if their senses are encouraged from a very young age. I know Sagittarians that are very strong in their powers that were never encouraged, and misuse them, or afraid of them, and don't accept them and hide from them, and it causes them problems. It causes physical problems and it causes mental problems. It causes a lot of things. And so if you have a Sagittarian child, or you are a Sagittarius yourself, and you're feeling these inner you're feeling these inner connections to the spirit world, and you're getting spirit, all these conflicting feelings, and if you go through and look at your sun sign and say, okay, I'm Sagittarius, this is what I was born under, this is what rules over me, and take part of the earth that is provided for you under the sign that you were born, that is best nourishing and best for your body. And so that's why we have all these things that fall under the sun signs, and that are lush at that time for us. And let's see. Also, Sagittarians become impatient very quickly. They're self-gratifying. If they don't feel like it's up to their satisfaction, they will seek out until it is. And which is okay. That makes for a very organized person. The ruling planet is Jupiter, which is the king of gods. Jupiter is always known as the king of gods. It's the natural born leaders. So Sagittarians are going to be a leadership role. They're always going to hold some type of leadership role, but it's going to be a lot of compassionate type leadership roles. A lot of Sagittarians are doctors and nurses and spiritualists if they embrace it young enough. It's just natural born leaders, politicians. There's Sagittarians can kind of either lead one way. They're either very, very nature bound or not. So, because some of them are very concrete and they don't believe in, if they don't see it, it doesn't exist. So that's where that comes from. They're outspoken and, well, not outspoken in general. They're outspoken about their beliefs. If they truly believe in something, they are very outspoken about it. And they don't hold back on it. And I commend anybody that does that. I feel like everybody should speak out about their beliefs. And I do. Like I said, I don't label myself. I try not to. I try to stay away from labels, but I believe in all spiritual beliefs, and it's not my right to judge anybody's, though. Like I said, if your children have gifts and they're Sagittarians, embrace it at a young age. Allow them to come to you and be open with them and talk to them and get involved in their experiences and make sure they're all positive and protect them. And it's very important for you as a mother, as a parent, to burn protection and ask the universe for protection for your children as these are coming in. And let your Sagittarians explore and, research and believe in what they want to. Each one of my children believe they have a whole realm of beliefs. They take certain beliefs from certain areas and they have their own belief system. And that is okay because we are allowed to do that. That is our right to do that. So, let's see. Sagittarians, they're ones also, like we discussed before, being in Oklahoma, people make comments about me wearing my about wearing my necklaces and wearing my I tell people all the time that it's not a pentagram, it's not, doesn't mean I worship Satan. It's, the pentagram was originally a Christian symbol. So yes, I wear it proudly. And I wear it for the reason of, that is what I represent as nature. And I do embrace the pentagram and I wear it. And Sagittarians are ones that are also will embrace what they believe in and not care what anybody else thinks. So that is one thing that I also really think is awesome about Sagittarians. And if they're having trouble connecting to that part of them and not being able to, embrace how they feel and not care what other people think, then that's where some of your healing therapies will come in, the tinctures and the teas, aromatherapies, candles, your protections, just as, as a society all together, as, we can also light protection candles for our fellow loved ones. And whenever I light my white candles, I have a candle burning constantly at my house. When I light a candle that I know is going to burn for 3 or 4 days straight, I place that protection candle and I protect everybody. I mean, there's so much I put into that spell of protection, and that is something you want to try to be able to do for your family every single day. And keeping your crystals that are your earth signs for each person in the family that you're protecting, or having something around that is connected to that person, and burning those protection candles, it really does add strength and light to your spells. So I'm a strong believer in burning protection, and that's another thing. Sagittarians are natural sage lovers. Naturally love sage, and that is their herb. Sage is the herb for Sagittarians. They will, without even realizing it, just automatically just take on sage. And another thing, an earth plants, you'll find Sagittarians are drawn to big plants. They're drawn to ivies. They're drawn to luscious plants. One of their Sagittarians will be drawn to pennies. Pennies is considered to be the Sagittarian's flower, and if you see pennies that are very healthy, they're as big, the flowers on them are as big as dinner plates. They're gorgeous, and it's just an absolutely beautiful flower. And this will be something that is a signifier to Sagittarians. It helps them by planting pennies in your yard. They're an annual plant that you can plant in your flower bed, and they bloom around Mother's Day, and they're beautiful. And one absolutely that you can add to your garden, and especially if you have a Sagittarian child. I'm going live. What's wrong? He's coming. Alright, bye. Sorry, my son was calling, wanting to know if he's getting picked up from work. Anyway, you can plant pennies in your yard, and those are it helps hold in light and protection, and you're around the foundation of your home. You can clip fresh pennies and have them in your home, and those really do feed the soul for Sagittarians. Like I said, the one thing that I love about Sagittarians is they're very optimistic, and they will take a step back, and like I said, as long as you don't betray them, they will, kind of give you a second chance, but never totally trust you again. And so you truly make a friend with them. They're quick to make a gamble themselves, so they're kind of a little bit of a hypocrite sometimes, but I have a Sagittarius client that I've been working with on that. He's a little bit of a hypocrite on spending, so that's one thing that he came for spiritual healing on other levels, but that was one thing we decided that we had to work on. And it really did work. It really did help with the protection candles, and realizing that he had to protect himself too. So and Sagittarians are naturally lucky, so sometimes that's Sagittarians are they're apt to get addicted to gambling and things like that. That's another fear that I always feel in Sagittarians that tell me they gamble, because that scares me. So they are compulsive, and they do like to take that lucky chance. So anyways, another great thing about Sagittarians is they're very self-sufficient. They're very independent, and so there's a lot of things that a lot of elements of Sagittarians they should use in everyday life because they are so independent, and they're always on the go and about adventure and looking to fulfill life, and a lot of times they suffer from insomnia, and this is where my tinctures and teas and things would come in, and again your crystal therapy would come in. Your crystal therapy is going to be amazing for the Sagittarians. That's when your topaz is going to be very important, and your amethyst. Those two, you're going to really want to have those two at your bedside or at a satchel under your pillow. There's several stones I keep in a satchel under my pillow because they hold in a lot of energy, and when you sleep, you are rejuvenating and refueling, and these crystals, these charged crystals that you have, will pass that energy on through to you. And Sagittarians, because they are such a happy, free person, and their feelings do get hurt really easy, I've noticed with working with Sagittarians with crystal therapy and things that they value that crystal and value its energy and really embrace it. So again, if you have children that are Sagittarians and they are feeling the pull of the universe, the best thing to start them off with is that topaz. Don't just go with what the book says of their birthstone. Topaz is a Sagittarian stone, and like I said, turquoise is an alternative, but topaz is the crystal for it. Let's see. Okay, food that naturally feeds Sagittarians. This is what Sagittarians have to survive. Okay, when I say if you take this food away from a Sagittarian, they won't survive. They will get sick. They will just be horribly horrible. And it's tomatoes. Tomatoes feed the Sagittarians. I have a client which I've been talking about, that will pick up a tomato and eat it like an apple without any concerns at all and love it. So I can attest to that, Sagittarians, and loves ketchup, loves anything with tomato sauce, anything, tomato. And so if you have children that are Sagittarians and you notice they really like tomatoes, or really like ketchup, and drowned everything in ketchup, which most kids do anyways, but as that child grows older and becomes, more developed, tomatoes are going to play a really big role in their life. My friend that I was talking, or client that I was talking about, one time we were eating and they got, it was a cheeseburger with everything, with nothing but a tomato on it. And I was like, cheeseburger, nothing but a tomato, okay. But anyways, tomatoes are something that Sagittarian has to have, and that's one thing that I like about doing this series too, is that it's touching on little things like that you don't really catch and you don't really see. That was kind of a little fun fact that I had for you guys there. And then, like I said, sage. Sagittarians are naturally drawn to sage, and it's wonderful because sage is a natural purifier and cleanser, and Sagittarians want to have that clarification constantly. They want that validation and clarification. So sage is something that Sagittarians will, without realizing it, be absolutely drawn to it. And that's, if you have children that are Sagittarians, it's a good idea to start them at a young age with maybe just burning some incense that are sage for them. And then when you can still do the smudging if you'd like, and get your white sage. And my rituals that I do with sage, since I have a little bit of extra time here, I'm just about done with the Sagittarius. But anyways, what I do with my sage is, as you can see, it's kind of actually falling apart here, but this is just one of my bundles. It started off pretty long. I light it, and I have a ritual that I go around to each room of my house, and I do make a 5-point in my house and do my ritual while it is burning. And I also have crystals that I have set out, and then I will also light candles on my altar and have other incense burning. I burn, it kind of depends. It depends on the phases of the moon. It depends on, there's a lot of different things. It depends on what incense I burn. And as far as incense goes, sage is the only one for Sagittarians that really is a beneficial one for its spiritual and physical well-being. So white sage, you can't go wrong with Sagittarians. Very simple. Just any person that has any type of universal beliefs will always have, without a doubt, my hair is wrapped around this, without a doubt will have white sage. So with Sagittarians, it's very important to keep that. And like I said, my 12 zodiac sign symbols videos are, our next one, since this was Sagittarius, we'll just go in order. We'll do, this is the 9th sun sign, so we'll do our 10th. So that will be tomorrow's video, and I'm hoping I have the crystals for it. I'm gonna have to look. For tomorrow's video, sandalwood and sage is closed on Mondays, but if I don't have it, I'll have some pictures or something off the internet. I wanted to say lapis lazuli, that is a very wonderful stone. I think everybody should have one. I was gonna read I was gonna turn it, pull up on the computer. Lapis lazuli is the mineral compounds is very it's very amazing and very enchanting. I absolutely love the lapis lazuli, and my kids like it, and it's just a really fun one to have too, because it's the way that it looks is just so beautiful. It's blue, and yeah, I know, I hear them out there fighting. Sorry. We live in apartments and they're fighting out there. If you can see it, that's the lapis lazuli off of Wikipedia. We tease it, we call it Wikipedia. But anyways, let's see, it's calcite, in the calcite family. Let's see. I was just trying to see if it had, sometimes they have what it's, it was used for jewelry making and make pigmentation and things like that, but Renee is okay. But anyways, well, I'm gonna have to cut this video short now. I'm gonna have to go help a neighbor, the one that is a very good friend of mine. And so anyways, blessings to all, and catch tomorrow's video for the 10th sun sign. Thank you.